Good day everyone, we are Group 2 and we'll be discussing Chapter 6, Lesson 2, Soul, Space and Symmetry Art. But first, let me introduce what art and space. Art is a visual statement that represents the world around you, communicates an idea, expresses a feeling, or present an interesting design. Art comes from the Latin word art, which means skill or craft. It is one of the oldest and the most important means of expression developed by human beings and has been part of every society across the globe. So these are examples of art, and Leonardo's Mona Lisa is one of the most famous paintings in the world. In terms of art, spaces refers to the emptiness or are between, around, above, below, or within objects. Art in space is at times idealistic and redundant. Space is found in nearly every piece of art created. Painters imply space, photographer capture space, sculpture rely on space, and form and architecture build space. It is a fundamental element in each of the visual arts. Space is important because it gives the viewer a reference for interpreting an artwork. Creating perspective in art relies on the judicious use of space in a linear perspective drawing. For instance, artists create the illusion of space to imply the scene is three-dimensional. They do this by ensuring that some lines stretch to the vanishing point. In landscape, a tree may be large because it is in the foreground, where the mountains in the distance is quite small. We know that the tree cannot be larger than the mountain. This use of size gives the scene perspective and develop the impression of space.
The Torogan. The Torogan is an ancestral house in Lanao, Maranao, Philippines, and it is built by the Maranao people. Torogan also called the House of Power. So, how Torogan became the House of Power? The Torogan called the House of Power because it is the house of upper class. Upper class are also known as the wealthy and rich people like Datu. In the 1800s, the community and slaves constructed the current Torogens for the Datu. The Datu, his wives and kids lived there. No home in the Sultanate may be bigger than the Torogan of the Datu, since it represents status, money, and rank. Functions of Torogan. The Torogan is used for planning, decision-making, and community affairs. Examples of this are wedding, Thanksgiving rites, and vigils for the dead. Parts of a Torogan house. Base. Base is composed of huge trunk and has a measure of 2 meters above the ground. Based on my research, 20 or more than trunks are needed to make a Torogan house. Window. The Torogan window have apertures and are lavishly framed with wood panels and ochre motifs. Roof. Roof is made of cogon grass, was used to cover the Torogan's roof. The cloth serves as the ceiling of the house to absorb the heat from the roof. But as time goes by, GI sheets have taken its place. The doors, window, flooring, ceiling, walls are all constructed from bamboo that has been joined by a rattan. GI stands for galvanized iron or a metal roof. The most noticeable feature of the Torogan is panulong. Panulong is a house decoration by the Maranao people. The front of the home was a carved beam with an ochre-inspired design on it. As we notice, the ochre design is present in all parts of the house. Then later on, we will know more about it.
My name is Angel Biatoli. I will discuss the Ifugao Bale. The Ifugao Bale or native house is said to be the first prefabricated house in the world. Ang bahay ng Ifugao ay isang klase ng tradisyonal na bahay ng isang etnikong grupo ng mga Pilipino. Mayroong itong natatanging disenyong pang-arkitektura na sumasagot sa pangangailangan ng karaniwang Ifugao. Karaniwan itong isang malaking kwarto lamang na nagsisilbing tulugan at kainan ng pamilya. The Ifugao house has a square floor plan. Also, the size of the house is determined by the socio-economic status of the people. An average Ifugao house is approximately 12 to 14 feet wide and 12-14 feet long. The Ifugao house has a square floor plan. Also, the size of the house is determined by the socio-economic status of the people. An average Ifugao house is approximately 12 to 14 feet wide and 12-14 feet long. Matatagpuan ang mga Ifugao sa mga kabundukan na nasa hilagang bahagi ng Luzon at alin sa mga pinakatanyag na lugar na kanilang kinabibilangan ay ang hagdan-hagdang palayan sa Cordillera.
The nipa hut or bahay kubo is a type of stilt house indigenous to the cultures of the Philippines. It often serves as an icon of Philippine culture, or more specifically, Filipino rural culture. Its architectural principles gave way to many of Filipino traditional houses and buildings that rose after the pre-colonial era. These include the colonial era Bahay na Bato, which is a noble version of bahay kubo with Spanish and some Chinese main architectural influence, and the contemporary buildings such as the Coconut Palace, Santo Niño Shrine, Cultural Center of the Philippines, and National Art Center, which are modern edifices that use bahay kubo as a major influence. The name of the primitive nipa hut is based on the Spanish phrase kubo, meaning cube, probably because of its rectangular appearance, and bahay is the Filipino word for a house. The construction of a bahay kubo is totally based on the local needs and conditions, fabricated with ever-dependable bamboo or kawayan and banded together by 3 strings with dried coconut leaves or cogon grass. Walls are made of nipa leaves or bamboo slats, and the floor is made of finely split resilient bamboo. The typical structure is raised with thick bamboo posts 1 to 2 meters above the ground, depending on the area where the shelter is constructed, providing the inhabitants a safe shelter from wild animals, snakes, and protecting them against torrential rains and floods. Bamboo is strong, lightweight, and flexible. It has diverse functional and traditional uses. It holds and mirrors much of the Philippine culture, and it is a part of many ceremonies, beliefs, and traditions. The art of soul refers to the creative expression and cultural identity of a community, and bahay kubo embodies this through its traditional design and use of natural materials. The house reflects the simplicity and resilience of Filipino life and culture, which is deeply connected to the nature and the environment. The thatched roof and bamboo walls create a warm and welcoming atmosphere, providing a sense of security and comfort to those who live within. The art of space, on the other hand, refers to the arrangement and use of physical space in a way that supports human activities and needs. Bahay kubo is designed to maximize the use of space while providing a functional and efficient living environment. The raised floor, for instance, not only provides ventilation but also acts as storage area. The open plan layout allows for flexible use of space, accommodating different activities and social interactions. Bayanihan is when each man carries a piece of the weight of the bahay kubo and becomes a hero for all the others others because he lightens the burden for them. This event holds a social and festive atmosphere. After the house arrives at its new site, the moving family shows their appreciation by hosting a modest fiesta for all volunteers that help them. This collective activity is known as bayanihan, meaning unity and harmony. It demonstrates the unique culture and lifestyle of the Philippine community. In summary, the Bahay Kubo is more than just a physical structure for the indigenous people of the Philippines. The Bahay Kubo house is a beautiful example of the intersection of art, culture, and architecture. Its unique design and construction techniques as well as its cultural significance make it an important part of the Filipino heritage and an inspiration to many artists and designers. It is a symbol of their culture, beliefs, and way of life. It serves as both the soul and art of space of the community, showcasing their creativity and craftsmanship while reflecting their close relationship with nature. Bahay na Bato, Tagalog literally House of Stone, is a type of building originating during the Philippine-Spanish colonial period. It is an updated version of the traditional Bahay Kubo. Its design has evolved throughout the ages but still maintains the Bahay Kubo's architectural basis, which corresponds to the tropical climate, stormy season, and earthquake-prone environment of the whole archipelago of the Philippines and fuses it with the influence of Spanish colonizers and Chinese traders. The art of soul is evident in the intricate carvings and ornate details of Bahay na Bato, which reflect the craftsmanship and creativity of Filipino artisans. The house is often decorated with elaborate wooden screens called ventanillas, which feature intricate patterns and designs that are inspired by local flora and fauna. These decorative elements not only enhance the beauty of the house, but also represent the spiritual and cultural beliefs of the Filipino who built it. The art of space is also evident in Bahay na Bato's design, which is adapted to the tropical climate and the local way of life. The house is built on slits which allow for ventilation and protect the structure from floods and pests. The interior is designed to maximize the use of space and accommodate various social activities such as family gatherings and religious celebrations. The living spaces are often arranged around the central courtyard, which serves as a gathering place and a source of natural light and ventilation. In terms of decoration, Bahay na Bato houses often feature intricate carvings and moldings, as well as colorful tilework and stained glass windows. These decorative elements are often inspired by nature and religious motifs, reflecting the cultural influence of the Spanish colonial period. Overall, Bahay na Bato is a testament to the integration of different cultural influences in Philippine architecture. It represents the creativity, resourcefulness, and adaptability of the Filipino people, who have transformed their built environment to suit their needs and express their cultural identity. The art of soul and space are intricately intertwined in Bahay na Bato, creating a unique living space that reflects the values and aspirations of the Filipino people. The Bahay na Bato is a product of economic progress and cultural adaptation, and as such is a symbol of affluent, westernized Filipino. It stands as a reminder of the social situation, which has not significantly changed even with the introduction of democracy, public education, and free enterprise.
There are many different types of indigenous houses in the Philippines, each with their own unique features. The most common type of indigenous house is nipahan, which is made up of bamboo and palm leaves. Indigenous houses in the Philippines are typically built using materials that are readily available in the area. These include materials like bamboo, wood, and palm leaves. Indigenous people have been building houses using these materials for centuries, and they develop unique methods for doing it.
Good day everyone, I am Sophia Marie Pilapus, and now I will discuss to you the other indigenous houses in the Philippines. And now, I will discuss to you the two different kinds of indigenous houses that exist in the Philippines. The first one is the Bajau houseboat. The second one is the Higaonon tree house. And now, let us proceed to the first indigenous houses that exist in the Philippines, the Bajau houseboat. In this slide, you will see the great images of the Bajau houseboat. Bajau houseboat. So, the sea gypsies of the Philippines. Kaya tinatawag na sea gypsies of the Philippines yung mga Bajau kasi sila yung mga tao na nakatira sa bangka lang. Nandun yung bahay nila, tapos nandun lang yung nasa dagat lang sila, naka-stay sila doon. So, just what I said earlier, na lang sila sa dagat, mostly na pinag-i-stayan nilang dagat is sa island of Sulu. Na yung mga Bajau din is kino-consider na yung mga design nila is communal practice. Tapos yung bahay din nila na yun is mostly gawa sa mga driftwood, sa mga kahoy, and defreeze from the coastal cities of Southeast Asia. So it means na mostly yung materials ng house nila is yung mga recyclable, mga garbage galing sa coastal cities na which is maire-repair pa nila at mailalagay nila sa mga bahay nila. Then, the last fact about Bajau houseboat is kaya yung mga Bajau na yan ay nakatira sa ganyang klase ng bahay is that because yung mga Bajau kasi is magaling silang mag-dive at magaling silang mag-fisherman. Magaling silang fisherman. So, it means na yung pagiging fisherman nila ang nagiging negosyo na nila. So, yan yung mga tungkol sa Bajau houseboat. Ready your ears and mind for the last topic, which is the Higaonon treehouse. The pictures that you see are the images of the Higaonon treehouse. So, Higaonon treehouse. Etong mga Higaonon treehouse, mga treehouse na is mostly matatagpuan mo yan sa remote areas dito sa Agusan at sa Misamis Oriental. At etong mga treehouse nito is binubuo ng mga materyales na gawa sa nipa, cogon grass, bamboo, rattan, o yung mismong puno na nga, syempre. Kaya nga siya treehouse. Then, ito ding treehouse na to is may taas na 6 feet at may lapad na 8 wide. At ito rin mga treehouses to is nagko-consist ng mga catwalks na tinatawag, na which is hagdan siya na makitid lang, na nagko-connecta sa mas maliit pa na mga maliliit na treehouse pa. Then, kaya nila binuo itong mga treehouse na to is para maging depensa nila na once na kinakalaban sila nung mga kaaway nila. At yun lang po ang tungkol sa Higaonon treehouse. That would be all for our discussion. Thank you for listening.
Ibatan houses. Ibatan houses is a house made of stone, lime, wood and thatch roof made of local grass cogon. Structures resembling houses found in European hinterlands. These homes were small, well situated, and designed to protect against strong winds. The Spaniards introduced large-scale production of lime to the Ibatan for the construction of their now famous stone houses. Ibatans of people inhabiting the Batan Islands of the Philippines, together with the Itbayat, the Ibatan, inhabit the Batanes-Babuyan groups, two island groups in extreme northern Luzon, which lie in the Typhoon Belt. Only the larger islands are habitable, and even these consist of mostly rugged terrain. The Ibatans are described as peaceful, God-loving, honest, resilient, helpful, cheerful, and gentle, but hardly and hard-working. Traits that no doubt were shaped by the environment, religion, education, and their unique evolution as a people.
Mandaya House.
The Mandaya house is wholly made of carefully selected bamboo flattened into slats and held together by horizontal bamboo strips or rattan. Ascent to this single room with a small kitchen area is through a removable single notch trunk of a tree. The Mandaya Mansaka are famous for their distinctive costumes and ornamentation, which involves tie-dyed textiles and embroidery using a sophisticated system of symbols with name motifs, beadwork, and silver craft are also well developed. The Mandaya tribes originates from Davao del Sur. They are known for their intricate embroidery and sewing techniques. The Mandaya tribes refers to a number of indigenous groups found along the mountain ridges of Davao Oriental, Davao del Norte, and Surigao del Sur. They are also recorded to be present in Mount Campalili in the highlands of eastern Mindanao. The Mandaya originally thrived on pangayam or hunting, fishing, and gathering wild forest products. The traditional Mandaya house is like a lot of our indigenous homes, rely on materials that are readily available. The house has four distinctive features: a sleeping quarters or dagmay, a container made of rattan or bangki, the kitchen, and the lapi container for farm products.
It is when an element of a painting or drawing balance each other. When visual elements are placed evenly on both sides of a center line, symmetrical balance appears in the world of an art. Formal balance, also known as symmetrical balance, can be visualized as the mirror image of the other half of an artwork on the other. By putting a line down the middle of an artwork and comparing the two sides, you can tell if it uses symmetrical balance. A symmetrical balance is obtained when the positive and negative space are equally weighted and positioned on both sides. The Greeks interpreted the words as the harmony of the different parts of an object, including good proportions between its constituent parts. The mirroring might not be exact with the symmetry, especially when it's not a geometrical drawing. Yet, if you can draw an obvious symmetrical line on the top of an image, symmetry is involved. Symmetry can be found almost everywhere in nature, even in the human body itself, starting from your own very own face. Leaves, flower, fruits, butterfly wings. Look closely and you will find symmetrical things everywhere around you. Symmetry is also quite common in many major architectural works and styles. It gives buildings a tone of power, stability, and monumentality. However, creating art with symmetry can be tricky since it requires some compositional planning and a developed sense of balance from the artist. Symmetry can get boring and lack variety, so it's important to make art visually interesting in any creative way you can. To make your work more diverse, artists can add more complicated details and features, patterns, textures, figures, and their symmetry. A famous example of symmetry in art is the Last Supper by Leonardo da Vinci. It uses near symmetry and has a strong sense of image being balanced and asymmetrical across the vertical axis. The painting uses symmetry as an important technique to point the viewer's eye to its focus. Ochre is also an example of symmetry art. It is an exclusive artistic cultural heritage of the Maranaos and Lanao, Philippines. Ochre is an artistic design of Maranao native inhabitants of southern Philippines, beginning from the 6th century before the Islamization of the area.
My name is Sayeda Daitin E. Rosales to represent about the Ochre. The concept of the soul and space art and design of Ochre is rooted in the cultural heritage of the Philippines, particularly among the indigenous people of Mindanao. Ochre is a traditional art style that originated from the Maranao people, who are predominantly Muslim and reside in the southern part of the Philippines. In Oquir design, the soul represents the spiritual essence or inner self of an individual or an object. It is often symbolized through intricate pattern and motif that convey that interconnectedness of the physical and spiritual realms. These patterns are believed to communicate with the divine and evoke a sense of harmony and balance. Space art, on the other hand, refers to the way negative space is utilized within the Oquir design. Negative space is the empty area surrounding the main elements of a design. In Oquir, the effective use of negative space is crucial in creating a visual pleasing and balanced composition. The interplay between the positive field and negative empty space is true to represent the harmony between the physical and spiritual world. When combined, the soul and space art elements in Oquir design result in intricate and highly detailed artwork. The motifs often depict nature inspired from shocks as of leaves, vines, and tendrils, as well as abstract geometric patterns. These motifs are carefully arranged to create a systematical and rhythmical composition that reflects the interconnectedness of all things in the universe. Overall, Oquir design with its incorporation of the soul and space art embodies the cultural and spiritual beliefs of the